I'm going to paint my monochromatic sky with light tints of blue and shades of blue. So what I need for the first day is blue paint and white paint. Notice I'm not using turquoise, I'm using blue. There is a difference. I have my pattern and I trace the circle anywhere that I want. And the first thing I'm going to do is start with the white, because when I mix colors, it's a lot easier to start with the light color. So I'm going to give myself about that much white. And then I'm going to come over to the other side and I'm going to give myself some blue, probably a little bit less. The first color that I mix is going to be a tint. So I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to dot it with some blue and I'm going to mix it into my white. And I'm going to make a very, very, very light tint. I would never paint with a brush that is this sloppy. So I'm going to set that aside and I'm going to get myself a clean brush and I'm going to paint my moon or sun or whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to neatly fill it with the first tint that I mixed. Covering up my pencil line, put it on nice and neat, and now I am done painting the tint. So I can put my brush in the dirty cup. Actually, I'm going to put both the brushes in the dirty cup. Now I have to get a new brush and take some more blue, and I'm going to mix that in with my white. I don't want to waste all that paint, so I'm going to scrape it off and then put my dirty brush away, and I'm going to paint my ring around the first one with a new tint. I know that the rubric says I have to have at least 4 tints, so I think I'm going to make my stripes about this thick. See how I'm doing the outside of the stripe first? And then when I get towards the inside, I can gently rub it, and if it smears that light blue, it's going to look really neat, like I blended neatly. So there's that. Dirty brush goes in. I come to get my next color, get some more blue. This is still a tint because I'm mixing it with white, and I need to make it a little darker. If I messed up and I didn't have enough blue, then I could always get a new brush and add some more blue in and then mix it up again. But I don't want to get my paint, my blue paint, white. I'm only going to use half of this thing this time. And I'm going to paint my next ring, which I'm going to make close to the same size. It doesn't really matter if it's the same size. As long as you have room for your 4 tints. So right now I have 1, 2, 3 tints, so I have to do at least one more. So I will take some more blue and I'm going to make it a little darker. It's still a tint because it's mixed with white. I don't think that's going to make enough difference, so I'm going to have to get more blue. Let's try it with this. I'll put this dirty one in there because I need it to still be a tint, but to definitely be darker than the last color, which I'm not successful at yet. Maybe I better take the bottle and add a couple drops because this one is not going to work unless I add more color. So here I have a tint because it's blue mixed with white, but it's much darker than the last one, which is good. And I'm going to start painting my next ring. Watch what happens when I get to the edge of the paper. I'm going to actually just paint right to the edge. Who cares if you paint the table? You can wash it later. Same thing to this edge. And I'm going to paint this ring as large as I can. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4 tints, which is exactly what the rubric said I have to have. I can add another tint because I have so much room, but if your stripes were wide, you're probably going to want to go to the next step. So I'm going to go ahead and add another tint. Okay, so I added another tint, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tints, and I still need room for at least 3 shades and my straight up blue, so I am going to go to my straight blue straight out of the jar, and I'm going to paint my next stripe. Tints are a lot easier to mix, and they are they'll show up a lot better. When you start getting to dark, it gets tricky. So if I were you, I would make sure that I mix my tints as far and wide as I can so that I only have very little room left for the darker shades. I'll go ahead and paint this blue and show you that next. So here is my sky, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tints and my straight up blue. So I have to do at least 3 shades, which is going to be fine. I'm going to make my shades a little thicker because as you notice I started to get thicker. I just think that looks cool. So I have blue in my tray, and that was the blue from the tints, which you're probably on to a new day now and you don't even have that. What you need is blue, and then you need your black. Black goes a long way, so I want you to only use like that much. And you always, when you mix 2 colors, you start with the light. So I'm using light, and I'm going to add some dark to it. So I'm going to take a nice big glob of black, and I'm going to mix it into my blue. Whoops. And it's hard to tell that I'm even making a darker blue, but I am. You'll notice it when you put it next to the other one. And I'm mixing this blue darker. And I'm going to get rid of my dirty brush because I don't paint with a sloppy brush. I paint with a neat brush. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put on my stripe of this dark blue. So now I have 1 shade. It's hard to tell the difference, but it will show up. I'm going to get some more black and mix it to my blue, and this shade's going to get even darker. Super dark. And I'm going to come around and paint this whole thing. So it looks like I have just enough room for 1 more shade. I'll get some more black, and I'll mix that with the blue, and it almost looks like I have black. And I'm going to paint the rest of my paper. So here I am with a monochromatic sky painted, quite beautifully, I might add. It's neat. The rubric asked that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 or more tints of blue. I have 5. I had to include 1 blue straight from the jar, which I have, and then I have 1, 2, 3 shades of blue, which is tricky. Sorry about the glare that keeps recording. I'm guessing this is going to take you 2 to 3 classes, but when it's finished, it needs to look neat like this, and I look forward to seeing it.